Hey guys, this is host Adi and welcome to Comic Space. And Marvel Studios is supposedly retooling their Multiverse saga. In major revelations coming from a recent article from the Hollywood Reporter, where they have went on to point out some major facts that we already kind of know of, but what exact action Marvel Studios is gonna take moving forward. So we have a lot to talk about, some major revelations coming up. So we are going to break down the article step by step and then we are going to discuss about it. So we have a lot to talk about. Let's dive into it straight away. So one of the first things that they have went on to state, execs are not calling it a reboot, not even a soft one, but much more like a creative retooling. It is a fact after the blockbuster release of Avengers Endgame after 2019, the studio was asked to scale its content specially directed to Disney Plus. And then streaming was all high during the reign of Bob Iger, then his predecessor Bob Chapek, but however, that ask was proven unsustainable. And recently, as Bob Iger has returned to the position of CEO of Disney, he have himself stated that in our guild to increase content, some of our studio have lost their focus, and the first step that we are going to take in that direction will be cutting the output in Marvel particularly. So pretty much during the whole article they're actually kind of pointing out how Marvel Studios have reign of Multiverse Saga has been, and we have talked about on Disney Plus as well, and there are lots of other interesting things that we are going to talk about, like Jonathan Major's subject that we are going to tackle next. But talking about this, so okay, Marvel is pretty quite aware, which is a good thing, of how things have went, especially with the Disney Plus strategy, particularly in Marvel Studios, and the CEO of Disney himself pointing out that is a major thing. So what is this creative retooling that execs are avoiding to calling it reboot or even a soft reboot? What does that exactly mean? They are going to cut down the output, and especially next year Disney is not looking forward to release 4 Marvel films in the same calendar year. So I think that actually tells us a lot, and they're also going to stick with the strategy of releasing 2 live action series on Disney Plus only. So the first thing first, output cuts. And another major thing that this is kind of related to what we just talked about, as the studio boss Kevin Feige looks forward to recalibrate the creative behind the scenes, as just recently the Agatha Darkhold Diaries, which is a spin-off series to WandaVision featuring Catherine Hahn, finishes reshoot within 1 day with 5 days of schedule, with having 4 days left in the schedule, fueling a sunny outlook around the show, as the show is supposed to be releasing this fall. So again, it might not seems too much to talk about, but again I think it is one of the major indication. So okay, the first thing first, Agatha Darkhold Diaries have finished all of the reshoot in 1 day, where they have 5 days in the schedule, and that is great. They are happy with Agatha Darkhold Diaries, and that is great. So the major indication here is that much like what we have seen with Daredevil Born Again, and I do keep bringing that topic back because I think it actually tells us a lot, because Marvel Studios actually shot few of the episode of Daredevil Born Again, but again the show wasn't turning out to be what they needed to, and then they went back to square one. They brought some characters back and they started filming from a new angle overall again. And especially if you're talking about Daredevil Born Again and projects like that, or the Fantastic Four, they know and we know those projects are a very major points in the Multiverse saga, and you really have to deliver with those characters, with those storylines, because we already have seen the level of, and given the how high the bar already has been set by the Marvel themselves. So 100% that does fuel the expectation, just not of the fans but of the studio themselves. So I think that tells us a little bit about what this creative retooling is actually going to look like. And I think after Bob Iger have came back, we for sure have seen some major changes happening all over the place, just not with the schedules but behind the scenes. And obviously that creative retooling, that they are calling it a creative retooling, whatever name that you want to give, taking a step back and looking from the bird's eye and figuring out the situation. If you want to call that creative retooling, 100% go ahead and call that. But another major thing that we have to talk about is Jonathan Majors, no pun intended by the way. So as article highlights the fact about the major situation that has been going on, and how Marvel Studios is looking forward to that situation and how to tackle it, and how to move forward, as they have went on to state. As Marvel looks forward to clean up the mess that was left in the awake news of Jonathan Majors, an actor who was first cast to play in the upcoming Avengers film, as Marvel went on to drop the actor after several hours after his conviction, as they are rewriting the Avengers film, and they have also went on to state either to minimize his character or to excise him totally from the upcoming films. So okay, this is a major thing that we are going to talk about, and they have also stated that Marvel was making moves to minimize his character even before the conviction, as due to the Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania poorly performed box office. First thing first, let's talk about Marvel making moves before even the conviction happened, and I think the whole plan was to only have Kang the Conqueror in Avengers 5 only, and they were going to move on with a new villain with Avengers Secret Wars to focus on. And obviously they were making changes to Avengers 5 and Avengers 6 due to the underperformed Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, but I don't think so. That it does not mean that they were just going to write off Jonathan Majors. That is not the case, but after that happened, it was quite sure that Marvel has to make some major changes to the script and talking about excise him totally. So what that means is they're obviously going to have recast of Kang, because they're actually moving forward with the recasting of the Kang right now. However, when Kang comes, he's gonna be there for like a several moments, and they obviously have to outright him. And I think the possibility of Kang staying as the villain of Avengers 5 and Avengers Secret Wars, for me, I think it is a very high possibility of that still happening, because given the multiverse and there are the infinite variants of one person, so obviously you can handle that situation with just a simple recast. But again, we gotta see how that is going to work out, or they're just gonna move on to a totally different villain. So okay, so as the situation as stands right now, we are going to have Kang. He's gonna there for a while, and obviously then he's just gonna get punched by the new villain, who will probably be someone that we don't know of. And I think we already know that Marvel has officially dropped the Avengers Kang Dynasty title, and it just stands as Avengers 5 right now. And obviously that actually tells us a lot how major part Kang initially was to Avengers 5. But again, they obviously have to change it to something, and obviously Kang is also going to be in the films. I don't think so more than minutes now. Again, the major thing here is that we have talked a lot about Kang's role in the Multiverse Saga, and how much time that Marvel have invested in that character, in that storyline, to build that character. But again, it just lets me to believe that so Kang is not going to be the final boss that our heroes have to beat out, and we are going to talk about that in another video. Or it maybe even can be Thanos coming back. Okay, that was another far-fetched idea, so it is not rumor or anything. It is just on my thoughts, speaking out loud. The things are getting much more clearer and clearer regarding Kang, and regarding how the whole situation is going to look like. Another major thing that they went on to state about this whole creative retooling that we are calling it, Marvel recently have also brought on board Jonah Callow, the showrunner of the acclaimed VFX series The Bear, on the script of the Thunderbolts, adding her flair to the Prestige project. So again, another major thing. On top of that, they have also brought Eric Pearson, who already have worked with Marvel Studios on the projects like Thor Ragnarok, The Black Widow. He have also brought on the board to polish the script for The Fantastic Four, again, which is a major project coming up next year. And again, this is not coming from the article, but we also have heard that as Mahershala Ali is also looking to be very much happy with the now script that they have for the Blade going on, and he's looking satisfied to move forward with that script as well. So again, lots of major changes happening here and there, so major updates regarding this upcoming projects, and they're just doing some polished touch-ups to these projects. And again, I'm really happy that they have brought the guys that they have already worked with, and again, given the nature of Marvel Studios, they are reworking on the scripts all the time, even during the production. So again, that is just the nature of Marvel. So talking about the article, as the Hollywood Reporter sources also have went on to state, and this is quite major quote, they are not going to give up. Source from a person who has been working with Marvel for past year, they want to make something great, unquote. So if you want to make something great, let's just make it great. And I think the major thing here is that people still care. They are still in the middle of the Multiverse Saga, and again, nothing is written on the rock yet. nothing is concrete. We are still in the midway, and I think everybody is kind of figuring the whole thing out. Doesn't matter how the ride started, and it went into a total roller coaster mode in the midway. But again, hey, taking the step back and looking what actually is happening and to actually work on it, I think that is a quite major update here overall regarding all of the situations. Just not Jonathan Majors, just not about the writing side, all over the thing, and output especially. I think obviously the quantity 100% diluted the quality of the projects for sure. So I think it is just about making people care about these projects and characters, and I think people really didn't care about the Marvels at all, because you know how that went. But again, people are still interested in the stories and characters. Obviously talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, which was the highest watched trailer in the time span of 24 hours with 365 million views, dethroning Spider-Man No Way Home. So I think it actually lets us a lot that people still care, because they want to experience this cinematic spectacle that Marvel Studios has been serving for so long. And I mean, their dishes got cold in the halfway, but again, I think we're just gonna jump back on the ride next year with probably not 4 but 3 films releasing, and Daredevil Born Again and Ironheart. So major projects are gonna come up, because we are getting like only one film this year. So again, I think next year we are going to start hard on the road to Secret Wars. Well, that's it for this video guys, but before you go, you can consider to grab the subscribe button so don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel or DC update. I'm so glad that you guys got the time to hear me out. Thanks for listening to me. This is your host Adi signing off. See you in the next one.